They never had the necessity to build the business with the proper foundation and the proper strategy to support a paid acquisition strategy.
Hey, welcome back to another very special episode of Experts Unleashed. Joel Irway here, and I am honored and excited to have a very special guest, Cole Humphus, here with us today. Cole is an amazing entrepreneur who has a very unique skill set and a very unique story of going back and forth between entrepreneurship and corporate America. Today, I'm excited to have Cole on the show. We are going to be talking about his business, how he took an educational course, transformed that into a membership site, scaled that to multi seven figures, sold it, and had a whole other slew of pivots and transitions after that point. And really, we're just going to dive into lessons learned through that entire process and how you can apply, certain tactics and strategies that we're going to be discussing today. Well, I'm very excited, very honored to welcome to the show Cole Humphus. Cole, welcome aboard, my man.
What's up, Joel? I'm looking forward to it. Thanks for having me.
We had a nice little chat before we jumped on. We talked about a couple of things. We talked about video quality, audio quality. Mm-hmm. We're both webinar guys. We've built businesses with webinars, and we have expertise with webinars. And I'm excited, man. I'm excited to explore your journey in much greater detail. I know my audience is going to love it. I have a very inquisitive mind, so I'm probably going to be diving deep and uncovering a lot of rocks. But as we get started, why don't you give us a little bit of background about who is Cole, what's your journey up to this point, and give us a quick 60 to 120 second intro.
Yeah, good. Let me try and bullet point it out. I mean, basically in bullet form, I went to school got a finance degree, was working in corporate finance. One day at lunch, decided I was going to become a photographer and do weddings on the side for some side income. I never even owned a camera at the time. Figured I'd teach myself. In fact, it just so happens I'm wearing my Dude Internet shirt, which was a quote that I told my coworker when she's like, how are you you don't even know photography. I'm like, dude, internet, I'll figure it out. And I did figure it out. Shot weddings for 7 years. 3 years into that, launched a company called Cole's Classroom, which was a photography education company. 6 months into that, tried to quit 3 times because I was juggling 3 jobs. And I'm like, why the heck am I doing this at 4:30 in the morning when nobody's showing up? And luckily I didn't. Ended up luckily getting some momentum, which I scaled, as you mentioned, from the sort of very low 6 figures to very mid 7 before selling the company. And essentially, that exit of the business was almost 2 years ago now. In that 2 years time, I've never learned so much about myself, what makes me tick, what I enjoy, what I don't enjoy. And ultimately, I'm pleased to say I'm following my passions again, right? It's sort of like almost this like rebirth and restart. And it's been it's off to a good start and really enjoyable.
Awesome, man. What was that first product that you got success with? It was in the music space, right?
Photography. Yeah. So
I'm sorry. I meant to say the art space. The arts.
Yes. Yeah. Well, it's okay.
I'm staring at a guitar in your background, and so
you see all these guitars here, so I totally get it. And as I jokingly told you earlier, it was like when I was going to do photography, I was like, I'm going to do guitar too because I know both. And you quickly find out to build anything of substance, it takes a lot of time. So I went the photography route. The first course was actually a newborn photography course where we taught people how to not become wedding photographers, but become newborn, because that is a niche within a niche. And the reason why was simple. I followed the data. Like I said, I almost quit. I wanted to quit. There was nobody showing up. Then suddenly traffic started showing up, and the traffic started coming from a free blog post, which was about, as you can guess, newborn photography. So I said, all right, well, our email list has a bunch of newborn people. Let's make a course.
Yeah. So that's interesting. When I work with clients and they talk about like selecting a niche or getting started with the right offer, there's a difference, right? It's like, oh, well, I love photography. I can teach people how to be great with a camera, or I could teach them how to, you know, um, God, I don't know. I
Edit your
should know more
photos.
about this because
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
invested like $5,000 into my Fuji X-T3,
Yeah.
figure out how to use it. But, you know, I could tell right away, like if we were consulting and you said, "Hey, Joel, you know, I'm trying to toss around an idea. You know, what do you think about how to teaching people how to become newborn photographers?" I'd be like, Cole, that's a fantastic idea because it helps people. It's a new opportunity, right? It's niche specific and it's like, okay, tangible, got it. Check
Mhm.
off that box. Can I provide value? Yes, you're helping them launch a business
Mhm.
or add a new income stream with this specific niche. Like that resonates with me. Did you know that right away? Like aside from that blog post, traffic, like as you were getting started, what were some of the other ideas that you were exploring in the photography space with
Yeah.
launching this business?
Well, I mean, I can say answer that a couple ways. Number one, my initial idea and thesis was my what I was most passionate about, which was wedding photography and business, and getting clients, all that. And really quickly, I realized that people weren't interested in that. And I think it's not that they aren't interested, but like the people I was attracting were more new, they were more beginner, and they also ultimately, as we launched the newborn course, we uncovered by accident probably the biggest like aha moment, which was people really love photo editing. And I think the reason why, I don't think, I know, because we've sold so many of these kinds of products, people will always want to pay for a tool that helps them get a result faster, right? So courses, inherently, you learn stuff, and learning is hard work. And where, tools can become more of the quote unquote easy button. So I'll just leave or finish that thought by saying, I wasn't even the one to do the newborn course because I'm not a newborn photographer. So I hired somebody to do it, the same person who wrote the free blog post. And I wanted to contribute and sell the course better. So I came up with newborn photography editing presets, which was for the Adobe Lightroom program. And all of a sudden, we started getting people that were buying the course, but they were buying it because they wanted the presets. They wanted the bonus. So all of a sudden, once again, follow the data. In my opinion, I like to follow the data versus my passion. I want to know what people are telling me. And we started going down the train of making more presets for different niches and all these things. And that opened up. I mean, that really is what scaled us to our first multiple seven figures, to be honest.
So the idea that you had was first launch this course for newborn photography, right?
Yep.
Um, was the first initial go around just a standalone course? When did you transition to membership sites? Because I know that's part of the journey.
Yeah, great question. So we did only courses slash products. And to me, the course was like video stuff. The products were more of these like quick fix tools and ebooks and that kind of stuff. And we did that from, let's see, 2014 to about 2016. So the first 2 years, there was no membership. And I decided to do the membership for a couple reasons. Number one, I thought, like most people that start a membership, they think that it's going to be easier to sell and people are going to stay forever. And that is not how it works at all, unfortunately. Um, but the more tactical reason why I started the membership was we got to $3 million a year from just selling these low ticket items. But I say that to indicate that's a ton of transactions, and that took a lot of
That was
energy.
product based, or does that also include membership? Just to be clear.
All No membership yet.
Okay,
So
so
we got
just standalone low ticket products. You got to 3 million a
just
year.
ads to offers to email marketing to offers, that whole game. And I was burning myself out on product creation. I knew that my email list, was starting to get burned out. And more importantly, from the financial metric standpoint, since we relied on paid ads so much, I saw our ad costs going up as we scaled, which is normal. And I saw our LTV was in trouble. We needed to have something that our people were worth more so we can scale faster. And that's when we decided to do the membership, which we launched 5 years ago, just about to the day.
Awesome.
So it was kind of at a necessity.
Yep. Yep. So launching low ticket products first couple of years in business, got to 3 million a year, running ads, got burned out, and then you made the transition to recurring membership. So was that, hey, now we're going to put everything that we've sold inside this recurring membership site for just a monthly fee? Was that the gist of it, or was there anything
I
that I'm
mean,
missing there?
I think initially that was the primary gist. And I say because it is a little bit foggy because we've done so many iterations and testing over these past 5 years. Certainly from the courses, yes. And I guess what I'll say is we have uncovered a lot of unique ways to scale memberships. And I think one of the ways that I am different in my view of memberships, and even my view has changed now compared to then, is simply you don't have to pick one or the other. In my opinion, especially in the educational membership space, it is a horrible idea if you literally just bucket everything and then they get it via the membership only. And the reason why is, it's somewhat like we aren't Netflix. We just aren't Netflix. There's not that much content. So unless you're like lynda.com or, some of these massive libraries, yeah, sure. Maybe where you can do massive content at a low enough price where people do stay forever, great. Otherwise, if you're like a sticky software, like any sort of software like SaaS, that they need in their business, that's a whole different ballgame. But for educational MRR, recurring revenue, course creators, coaches, consultants, all that, here's what happens. I see it time and time again. People think memberships are easier to sell. So they ditch the $500 course or the $1,000 course. And they're like, I'm going to put it in the membership because I want people to stay forever and it's going to be great. But people don't stay forever. And it's harder for them to, let me first say why they don't stay forever. They have to actually do work to get value. You have to do work to get value. Now, on the front end, when you try and sell it on the front end, it's way harder than selling a one-time thing. Why? Because people don't want more monthly payments. And courses inherently are more specific. So, what I am preaching like crazy right now, and what I know to be true from this point on in the future, the Facebook ads game is completely different. It's only getting harder. Ad costs are only going up. So all these people that made this migration from course to membership, they're getting a rude awakening because it's hard to freaking get members in. And now they're at a cash flow issue and they don't know their metrics. They don't know how long somebody's going to stay. So the best of both worlds, and what I'm doing now with my own business and what I'm encouraging all my clients to do, is go back to the course, sell the course, niche it down, have a specific result that people can know that they're going to get from that course, sell it at a fair price, minimum $297 all the way up to $997. So you can scale that in an automated way, i.e. webinars. Hey, challenges are great. They convert good. Well, you still have to show up all the time. So screw the challenge. I want to sell something around the clock, even when I'm sleeping. But then have the membership be the accountability / the coaching / the community / you know what I'm saying? Like people are going to have ongoing needs for access to you as the expert. They're going to have a need to go somewhere to get help. So don't give away the farm in the course, have both. But now you have a way to scale the front end, and that'll automatically flow into your back end, the membership.
Awesome. So what you're seeing is memberships are just too difficult right now. If with the acquisition method of paid ads, true or false?
I wouldn't say they're too difficult. I think it's highly dependent upon the offer, like most things. I think that scaling anything today is harder than it was 3 years ago and even 2 years ago, because essentially the arbitrage of, the sort of delta, the competitive edge that someone might have from a marketing tactic is gone because everyone's doing it. So if everyone's doing the same tactics, and when you have this influx of new competitors into a space, thanks to all of our friends at ClickFunnels that I know we've both made a lot of money with, right? So it's just simple economics. Barrier entry comes down, new people come in, ad costs go up, conversions go down, attention's harder to get. So your margin is less. So when I have people that are like, you just grew Cole's Classroom to 10,000 members with $49 a month. I want to do that. Here's my thing at $19 a month. Like, cool. Like, let's quickly run some math and see how that's going to work out. Because if you know your average cost per click and just do some simple math, you can see that that can be a hard thing to scale unless people stick around or you have deep pockets.
What was like, looking back on your days of growing that, right? With all the tests that you ran, the shifts that you ran, out of curiosity, and just so I'm coming at this from a selfish standpoint. I ran a test for a membership. I'll throw in air quotes, a membership site. It was actually like a monthly newsletter, right?
Yep.
And they got some additional monthly content. I didn't run paid traffic to it. I just did it to my internal audience.
Right.
And it went over like a fart in church, meaning like it was really difficult, like a lot more difficult than I expected. And I gave away a lot. I included a lot in that offer. And, we enrolled a few people, and it was, we had some technical hiccups. We had some, it was probably the worst experience I've ever had of launching an offer because there was confusion. And messaging was not as clear as it could have been.
Yeah.
What was like the top lesson that you've learned when you made that shift to, selling memberships? Like, what was, was there anything that stands out like, hey, this made the biggest impact to help us scale specifically the membership site? And I know you're making a shift now, but I'm just kind of curious over that journey.
I mean, trust me, it's near and dear to my heart. I mean, it was, essentially a couple aha moments similar to you, by the way. I launched it and we had a big enough audience at the time that we were able to get to 1,000 members fast. So we essentially we launched to like $25,000 MRR, recurring revenue. And I felt that was great. And it's like, all right, great. Like, sky's the limit. Let's keep doing this. And that's when I realized, oh, dang, like, this is harder to sell than I expected. And I was good on webinars, and I'd sell the webinar into the $49 a month. Actually, at the time, I presented both price points, $49 a month. That included community, or $19 a month for just content. And I remember converting 6%. And I was like, that's it, 6%. So the biggest aha moment was similar to probably you, was like, this is way harder to sell than I expected. But then from an operational standpoint, this is taking 90% of my time and effort for not even 10% of my revenue. Like, this is the opposite of 80-20. Like, this ain't cool. And I tried and I tried and I tried that year to figure out what to do to start scaling it. Ultimately, my secret weapon was a webinar to a $1 trial. And people thought I was crazy. Not that I shared this with anyone, because I was always sort of this undercover, like, marketer dude that nobody knew. And I think that was smart, because I was able to sort of step on the gas and scale really, really, really fast and get some momentum before anyone, at least in my space, knew what the heck was going on. And then they would just see this Cole's Classroom community just skyrocket. But, I was able to literally be okay going 95% in the red, or even more, on my acquisition cost. But I knew my metrics, right? So I had the financial modeling figured out to where I was like, hey, I know that I'm going to get only $1 today, but I'm going to break even by day 40 or whatever it was. And they're going to, so the overall profitability was there. And the only thing that shifted over time was my break even point, which kept going further to the right. The other thing from a tactical standpoint that worked really well for us was selling low ticket funnels and then using the dollar trial, not as its own upsell page, but as an order bump. That worked killer. Now, I would be a fool if I didn't also say the bad parts about using trials to scale really fast. And that is simply, you're going to have to deal with way more customer support. Put it bluntly, you're going to have people that are going to be pissed at you. I can't tell you how upfront and honest we were. It's $1 today. Then on day 11, you're going to get charged $49. You can go cancel whenever, all from within the portal, blah, 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 blah. It didn't matter. But we're also talking, we're doing 3,000 trials a month. So even a small percentage of people who had or didn't, or forgot, right? They forgot.
Yeah.
We were just talking about Amazon. We are in an age that people are used to just being able to complain and get the result that they want. And it's not that we wouldn't even do it. People come and they're like, what the heck, man, you charged me. I just thought I was giving you $1. I didn't authorize this. I'm like, actually you did, but hey, it's cool, man. Here's your money back. So without going down and being sort of a bearer of bad news, all I will say is scaling really fast via trials, you have to be prepared for the customer support headaches that it will cause. And that is also part of the reason why I'm doing this new shift. Because I think that there's just a better way to sell online and do the best of both worlds. Because I would be silly if I didn't acknowledge some of the positives. Membership, the best part of membership is impact. People will, I mean, we have people that have been with us for the last 5 years. And we've changed their lives. We were not having that level of impact selling little ebooks and trinkets. We were not having that with the quick fix. But that doesn't mean that we can't still have that and still sell the thing without the tech headaches. So that's why I'm convinced that that is sort of the way of the future. And I don't think many people are going to be talking about it, which I'm happy about because I'm planning to.
There's a couple things that I want to unpack there a little bit.
Yep.
That have, I think looking back, it seems now a little bit more obvious than when you're neck deep going through the journey, right? First of all, so I'll just, for my own recollection, like the first thing I want to say is you went from 6% webinar conversion selling the full monthly
price.
The full price, right?
Yep.
And then you switched to two different conversions, which was webinar to $1 trial, and then a $1 trial off of all of your other kind of like tripwires or low ticket products. When you went from full price to $1 trial, specifically on the webinar, what did that do for your conversions, your front end conversions?
I mean, at that initial test back then, we were north of 20% on the trial, and we'd have 55 to 65% roll over into a full price member. So the net number was basically we were 2xing, right? So if we were at 20% trial, but then 60% rolled over, we were kind of at that like 12% versus 6.
Yep. Cool. So you doubled your conversion with that.
Yeah.
And so that's awesome, right? Those are tests that like you don't really get unless you're deep in the weeds. And that leads me to the second point, which is memberships in general, I think, are for a very specific type of business owner. And from my own experience, and I would love to hear your thoughts on this, I think memberships are more for the nurturing type of business owner because it is kind of all, I think
more
it's
hands-on
on community, right? That's one of the things that you have kind of talked about. It's like, building that tribe, right? How it's for that nurturing type, but it's also, it's funny because actually yesterday I'm in this mastermind with a couple of guys. We're in the high ticket space, right? So we primarily push like, promote and launch like $3 to $10 to $15 to $20,000 programs.
Sure.
And we had this conversation about recurring, I'll throw in air quotes because it's not really recurring revenue, but some people call it recurring revenue, but it's basically like payment plans, right? So instead of selling a $24,000 program, they'll break it up 12 payments of $2,000.
Right.
And one of my buddies was talking about it. And he goes, I just could never get around that model because it requires me to have to go in the red early on, like even at $2,000 a month, because we're not selling it directly from an order form. You have to go application, strategy session, etc. Right. He goes, that makes me really nervous because I have to go in the red a couple of months for acquisition costs. And there's that big question mark. And you talked about that with your membership model. It's like, okay, well, I know my lifetime value numbers, right? My LTVs. And I think that requires somebody who is willing to learn that and willing to put in that effort. And that's not everybody. I mean, like, willing to, number one, like you have to become a marketer. Number two, you have to be good at marketing. And number three, you have to be willing to get deep into your numbers, know your LTV, run these stats, launch different offers. So, okay, and you have to produce great content to keep these people to stick, to get all of this stuff to work. That's a big ask for many people who are wanting to make a side income or a full-time income with online revenue. I think that's something that's not really talked about. We have this
Hmm.
big idea of like memberships and recurring revenue and whatnot, but like the one thing that's always not really sold me on it is like, man, that seems like it's like 4 times as much work and a lot more risk than the model that you're talking about going to right now. I mean, what are your thoughts about that?
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I think that, I mean, it is more work. I mean, I mean, in those first days of when we were, I mean, when we were really kicking butt, I had many people close to me who were seeing what we were doing. Um, and they've all considered, right? Everyone thinks the grass is greener. They're like, hey man, like, do you think I should do a membership? And I'm like, I think you're going to think I'm just telling you no because you're my competitor. But the truth is like, you're killing it with a one-time product on a webinar right now. Keep that going. Because literally the membership, I told so many people this, as soon as you go to membership, your business got 10 times as complex. Now
Yep.
you have to have payment decline follow-ups. You're chasing people's, credit cards are declining you. I mean, at one point, Joel, our payment declines were $30,000 to $50,000 a month. These are people that did not want to quit. It's just so happened that Visa is trying to look out for them and didn't get didn't let the payment go through. So yeah, it's a headache for sure. For me back then, it was out of necessity. And I'm right there now, being on the other side, coaching my clients, and they're like, yeah, membership. And I'm like,
Are you
like,
sure about that?
yes, but with these caveats. And yes, but why don't we try this first? I'm an 80-20 guy, like, what is the path of least resistance to earning the most money? That's also, so my program's called the Rapid Scale System, but what I came up with the other day on the fly, which I really like, I keep talking about it, is before you can rapidly scale, you need to rapidly create, then you need to rapidly test, and then you need to rapidly measure. And then you get to the rapid scale part. And yeah, we had to test a lot. Yeah, we had to be really good at marketing. And it just so happens I'm pretty damn good at business and metrics and spreadsheets and all that. Now, once again, let me give the positive spin to it. There's a lot of tools out there that make it easy to get this data that before I didn't have. I was doing everything in spreadsheets before in Infusionsoft. Now I run everything through Stripe. Stripe already gives me all those metrics I need. So all's not lost. ClickFunnels has an amazing analytics at a funnel level, which is super important when you're running traffic. Back then, when I joined in 2015, they didn't. So, and back to your nurture comment, I mean, yes, absolutely. But you also could have a team do that, right? So it's like high ticket, you still have OpEx, you got operational support, you have salespeople, so it just takes different form. And so that's less of the concern. It's more of the business logistics
Yeah.
and the headache factor for me. And, I want people to be able to come out of the gate swinging. And so I'm always looking at for my clients, like, I know that you can help a lot of people. What's the best way we can package all of it, everything? And I've been really obsessive about that with my clients lately, is this idea of what's your product suite? Because if you just have one product and it's like a $24,000 a year coaching program, you're probably good. Seriously, go run some ads. Doesn't matter if ad costs triple, you're going to be okay. But for those that aren't doing that, now, who you're trying to sell a $997 with ads on autopilot, now we have to really make sure that that's going to scale,
Yeah.
even if ads double.
Dude, I couldn't echo your, I couldn't repeat that any better myself,
I knew we'd be friends, Joel.
Yeah, I mean, so running the webinar agency since 2014, I mean, we've done hundreds of webinars, and um, we it takes there was the dream that was sold early
Yep.
on, and webinars were a lot more effective back then. And when I say webinars, I talk like direct selling webinars, because there's
Yeah.
also the webinars that go to strategy sessions and mini
Right.
webinars that we create. They go to
Yeah.
phone calls and whatnot. But your product webinars that sell $997 or $2,000, they are like, number one, they are so like anything. Like, I'm not even talking just webinars. I'm talking anything is so dependent on your offer.
Oh
Like,
yeah. I'm glad. I'm glad you
like
said that word. Because that's everything. That's
it
everything.
absolutely is. It absolutely is. Mike Dillard, who's a friend of mine, wrote a blog post about his list grow offer, which was fantastic webinar. I've studied it. It's in my swipe file, and he was doing something like, I want to say like 8% of all webinar registrants were purchasing his $1,500 offer on an auto webinar. Now, this is 3, 4, 5 years ago, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you break that down, like, number one, those numbers are astronomical. I mean, those like
Yeah.
our baseline metrics, like 1 to 2% conversion of all registrants to convert into a 997 or a $2,000 product, like, we're gold. Like, you can take that to seven figures, right?
Hmm.
Now, Mike, one of the most brilliant guys in the space, and he, like, the reason why he was able to get that offer that webinar to convert so well was because his offer was just, it was ridiculous. Now, he also wrote about this offer because it came back to bite him in the, I don't know if it bit him in the butt, but man, he has so much goodwill in the space that I know he will be able to cash in on this, and he has been able to cash in on it. But his offer was, if you complete the program and you record a testimonial, I'll refund 100% of your investment. And so who's not going to take him up on that, right? That's what a compelling
Wow.
offer can do. And it was just like, when I saw it, I'm just like, holy hell. Like,
So literally, if you do the work, and obviously he wants them to get results, but then give a testimonial, he's giving your money back.
100% of your like, and you have a year to complete the program.
You
So
know,
like,
why wouldn't the conversion rate be higher?
oh, it
Like,
was, I mean, 8% on a $1,500 offer. I think he went to like 250 grand a month, like instantly,
yeah, but you know what I
instantly.
mean though, right? But I mean, but my point is simply to play devil's advocate. That shows you, even 3 to 5 years ago, how sensitive the market is and how hard it is to get people to make that commitment.
Hmm.
Because technically, if they're given, I always say people are paying you with your time or money. That's why I like webinars. They pay you with both time and money. Like, so why wouldn't it be even higher? Because literally everyone that's sitting there should go, okay, um, put it on the credit card. I'm going to go do the work. Here's my testimonial. Woohoo. I just got this for free.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, it was, it's pretty incredible. I mean, because he entered a very, very saturated market. Like, it was launch a business, right? Internet marketing, and there's tons of those offers. But he knew, how do I stand out? Well, all my unique mechanisms and whatnot, like, that's going to take me so far. I need to create the best offer that I possibly can, and that's how he killed it. And so, yeah, it's just, I love talking about this stuff, man. I really do. So tell
Yeah.
me now, like, okay, when you're like, what's your methodology now for helping people grow their businesses and launch courses and launch programs? Like, go through your belief system and your process.
Yeah. Well, I've been fine tuning that, because like I have 8 years of everything in my brain, and it's sometimes it's like it's a challenge just to unpack it all in a more systematic approach. But where I'm at is essentially, there's a lot of people out there that are making some money online, and I say it like that. It might be 50K a year, it might be 250K a year, and a lot of people have been doing so in an organic way. They're led to believe that you have to be everywhere. Everyone does the same thing, right? Like I'm going to start a business, and then I'm going to go and make social media pages, and I'm going to start posting on social media. And then when I post enough and I have enough people that follow me, some of them will buy something. So people go down that path. And then what happens though is they don't know any alternate path. So then they think, oh, let me just go run some ads. And then it doesn't work. Well, one of the reasons why it doesn't work is they never had the necessity to build the business with the proper foundation and the proper strategy to support a paid acquisition strategy. And I know I threw a lot of strategies out there, but let me say it differently. If you're making $250,000 a year because you've hustled and made a Instagram page to, 100,000 people that follow you. Doesn't matter if it's Instagram, email list, the point's the same. You have 100,000 people that have been listening to you for 5 years. There's so many people that already know, like, and trust you. You could literally release anything and you're going to make some money. Now, it's that same person there. They think they got a false positive thinking that their product is killing it. And all they need to do is go buy traffic and they're off to the races. But it doesn't work that way, because now you're starting with a clean slate, people that don't know you at all. And just what did we just talk about? You need to have a good offer. And one of the byproducts of having a good offer is really taking a different look into your offerings and coming up and breaking away from maybe just having one signature program to what is the best sort of way to package and to multiply your product offerings. Because one thing that I believe is there's some customers that want to learn, i.e. will buy a course. There's some people that want it done for them, done for you services. There's some people that want coaching. There's coaching. There's some people that want the best price. There's lower ticket. So what I do is I've been helping my clients get clarity around that, because you have to have the right foundation. And part of it comes down to having a compelling offer. But part of it also is expanding your product suite so that you can sort of take your knowledge and reproductize it in multiple facets that give you essentially more tools in the tool belt to ultimately sell. Because the ultimate where I want to take somebody is I want to take them to autopilot profits. I want people to be able to scale their business, their sales, and their profits. Because I've seen a lot of people that are doing some really big sales numbers, but have not really crap left over for profits because they hire like crazy. And there's better ways to do it operationally. But it all starts with being able to sell to strangers that don't know you. And I see too many people that never get out of that sort of organic hustle mindset. They want the other side, but they may think that the ads don't work for them. But you and I both know it's not that the ads aren't working. You just don't have the proper foundation and strategy to allow the ads to work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The key, as you and I know, right, and anyone listening right now, hopefully you will figure out, making ads work all comes down to how compelling is your offer, right? And that might not be the offer that you're selling down the road in your sales process, right? The thing I talk about is like, you have to have an offer on your ad. Okay. So think about it. A webinar is an offer. Like, hey, sign up for my webinar, sign up for my free training. That's an offer. Like, that first step is an offer. Right. Then they go in, they watch your webinar. At the end, you have another offer, right? Yeah. People get this confused all the time. Is you need to create hand raisers as fast as possible. And that's from when they click on your ad to giving you their email address or their credit card for a low end offer or whatever it is. But you have to have a compelling offer every step of the process. I mean, it's like every commitment that somebody makes inside of your customer journey is another offer that they're essentially buying. And it's so important with ads. It's so important with ads because some people will come to me and I'm sure you understand this too, Cole. It's like, hey, Cole, I've got this amazing, I think I have this amazing offer, this amazing product. And then you listen to it, it's like, oh my God, like you might not say this, or like, dude, it's garbage. Like you'll probably say that in a much lighter, friendlier way. But it's all about offer creation, especially with paid ads.
Well, one interesting note on that, yesterday, a colleague of mine, or peer, I should say, a fellow War Room member, the mastermind we're in, she wrote me and wanted me to take a look because she's been having a hard time struggling one of her events, virtual event. It was like a $95 like boot camp kind of thing. And I looked, because I just wanted to be nice. So I peeked under the hood, and essentially the ads suck and the conversion page sucked. And I told her that, and she didn't take it the wrong way because it confirmed everything that she said. And she's been using a third-party agency and this, that, and the other. And she was like, yeah, but they were saying that the way we were doing ads before was no good and we need to do dynamic and all this. I'm like, none of that shit matters. Oh. Like look at your click-through rate, 0.3%. People, that's to your point. The first offer you're making is getting them to freaking click the ad. So if you write a shitty ad, they aren't clicking, you're paying this astronomical CPC, and then they get to this page and the page has no compelling copy. So your conversion rate there is garbage. There's the problem. So one thing, Joel, that I'm sure you would agree with, that I am trying desperately to bridge the gap for people is this whole idea of people know how to package their knowledge, right? Like there's so many guru-esque kind of courses out there, but those don't really solve the real problem, right? There can be a course to teach you how to run Facebook ads. There's a course to grow an email list. There's a course to make a good course. Do webinars, all those things. But what's missing is that middle component, that it's the rapid testing, the rapid measurement, and the rapid, it's basically like the, oh shit, like I did all the things I thought I was going to do and it's not working. Now what? And agencies get blamed. It's not their fault, right? And so anyways, I think that's the biggest challenge for people is what is the path forward? And does that mean that everyone has to be a marketer? Maybe to some extent. I mean, I do believe that like I told her, nobody's going to care about your dollars as much and conversions as much as you do. You have to be at least dangerous enough to know like how to get us in the right direction before you hand it off to somebody else. There's no easy button for this stuff.
Yep. Are you seeing webinars? How are you seeing webinars working nowadays? Like with paid ads, like for any type of offer, whether it's product offer, direct sale, what are you seeing behind this, in the trenches, I should say?
You have more visibility into this than I do, because with my newest venture, we haven't gotten to the webinar stage yet. I will be doing that. Absolutely. What I can say on the photography side, I mean, we have seen degrading conversions, but then again, it's also a very old offer. Like we have literally spent multiple six figures on the same webinar. So there's a lot of variables, I think, but in general, it's not just webinars. I think it's across the board. We've seen it with Tripwire, low ticket funnels. We've seen it with webinars, and it comes down to, I've been preaching about this for so long, not to you, but to other people. And I just think it's literally just like when people hear it, it's like, it should be well, duh, that makes sense. And that is that we were saying earlier, the free stuff that everyone's putting out has better production quality. So you got more people in the markets, you got more competition, which drives ad costs up. You have more people that are doing and offering and giving away more for free. It's essentially just harder to get attention. You got all these people that already know that they're going to get pitched on a webinar, that already know that they're going to have 4 upsells on the low ticket. So what do you do when all of the tricks don't work anymore, or not as they used to? Does that mean email's dead? No. Does that mean webinar's dead? Hell no. Does it mean they don't work as good? Yes. So once again, that's why I'm passionate and happy to be doing my current thing, because it all comes down to building the right business foundation and strategy and principles so that you become immune to these competitive pressures that are not going to go away. They're only going to get worse. And I do think that does mean everyone should have some kind of high-ish ticket thing.
Yep.
There's a lot of people like, I don't want to coach because that takes work. I'm like, dude, do you know how much work it was for me to sell $49 things?
Yeah. You're in the wrong business, man. It's like, if you're looking for push button easy, like you're not good.
Go clock in and clock out somewhere. That'll be as easy as it gets.
Yep. Yeah. It's a rude awakening for these people who think that, oh, I'm just going to go online, sit behind my computer, and nobody's going to know who I am, and I'm going to make $1 million or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah. I mean, trust me, I love ClickFunnels, and you might be one funnel away, but you also might be like 100 funnels away. But then when one hits, you might have yourself a $3-4 million business that you can sell and really make some cash. So it's interesting times, and I can't say that I didn't see this coming. I sold my business for a reason, and it was a good move. But also, I am confident in what I'm doing now. And everyone who's listening, if you are doing higher ticket things, like, you have some built-in immunity right there, and that's a good thing. If
Yep.
you're solely trying to do low ticket, I think you're going to be in for a rude awakening for sure.
Low ticket has its place, right? But it has to be part of a business model. It has to be part of
It can't
a
be solely low ticket. Trust me.
right.
This is coming from the Walmart of photography education online. Seriously. I mean, I've sold over 200, I think, thousand unique customers. And the interesting thing, Joel, is when I launched my newest, the rapid scale system, I'm enjoying just being the only one right now. It's me. There's no customer support. It's me. And in 30 days, I basically outlined the course, created the course, had no Instagram at all, made one just to literally talk to people from Clubhouse, start having conversations, close deals. I was getting on these sales calls, and it was one of the first sort of aha moments I had was like, wow, this is way easier than I thought to get $3,000. Like, wow. And I'm not talking no like multi-month thing. Like this was like $3,000. The initial offer is $3,000 for 30 days.
Yep.
And I closed like 90%. And some of which people don't even know me. They just met, we talked on the phone, and they're like, yeah, let's do it. And I'm like, holy crap. I spent all these years like literally having, to your point, making ridiculously good offers for $7, for $49. Yep. Like, wow. And to your point earlier, when you had the sort of flop of a membership launch, the biggest, I think, misconception people have is always going to be more content equals amazing value. It honestly, I think, has the opposite effect many times. More content equals that's a lot of work. That's a lot of overwhelm. I don't want that.
Yep. We've spent the past year and a half. So the year 2020 was like our best year in business.
Congratulations.
And it was the least amount of work that I also put into the business. And what and I don't want people to get the wrong impression with that, right? It took 5.5 to 6 years to build up to that. And it also created this weird situation of like, am I doing something wrong? Or I went into this weird funk of made a bunch of money, and I built the team, I built the systems in place. And as an entrepreneur who is not a managerial type, like I'm that opportunist, right? So I love going after new opportunities.
You and me both.
Not an operations guy. Like we have operations, but it took a long time to get there, right? And it was all based on the fact of easy sales.
Yep.
Now, when I say easy sales, it's reflecting exactly what you just talked about with your $3,000 offer, right? Easy sales and low maintenance. Now, you still have to bring the value. So you have to deliver. You have to have something that people want to learn, and that takes work to develop. But when you're able to develop a unique selling system with a unique offer that provides value, these sales conversations, these enrollment conversations are super simple, and it provides a lot lower stress, a lot lower customer service. And it's a very, very cool way to make a living. Whereas, last year I was just like, am I really like, I'm sure I'm doing something right, but this is weird because I'm trying to figure out like, what do I do next? Like revenue is awesome. Life is awesome. I'm working 16 hours a week. Friday is off. Like it was just a very weird situation to be in, but, that's what I enjoy doing. That was the lifestyle that I wanted to build for the business. And it finally kind of like clicked all last year. And many people are seeing it. You were seeing it as well. And there's a growing trend of people who realize like, okay, I need to develop a high value, high ticket offer. I'm okay with getting on the phone. I'm a professional, right? I'm a consultant. I'm a coach. A lot of course creators hate getting on the phone because they want to be behind the scenes and just like, oh, just buy my stuff and I'll never talk to you. It's like, okay, well, you're not really my ideal customer. That's totally fine. But there are lots of people who want that 1 to 2 person business. Elaine, God, I hope I'm getting her name.
Wilder.
No, I know Elaine Wilder, but Elaine Pofelt created this book called The $1 Million One Person Business. And it's like, that's kind of the dream of most of my, of most people that I speak with. It's like, okay, like how do we package and how do we
Mhm.
give you proper positioning, create a great offer, and make it super simple to sell and super simple to deliver.
Yeah.
Now, that's oversimplifying everything. There's a lot of work that goes into that, but it's completely possible. And
Yeah.
I think you're seeing a lot of people move in that direction as well.
I think, I mean, once again, before you can rapidly scale, you got to rapidly create, rapidly test. And part of that is being diligent with like how to best utilize your time. So I'm right there with you. Like, in fact, near and dear and very recent with my group of students I'm working with right now, time and time again, I'm having to remind them, what's the path of least resistance to test? Do your first test. Like, it doesn't have to be this low. Why are you going to try and do a low ticket thing? Then you need you need the upsells, you need this, that, and the other. Why don't we just create a webinar? And instead of even trying to sell the $19 a month thing, let's try and sell it as a one-time product first for $497. Let's just see, get
Yep.
that initial data point. But yeah, I'm glad that it's interesting when you're talking about sort of having this like what's next and almost this like confusion and these weird feelings. Since selling my business, I have never had so many weird feelings. And I think what it comes down to is it's a little bit of that question of like what's next, right? um you just can't help feel a little bit lost. And I think the reason why, correct me, this is sort of a question for you, but I think the reason why is we always are used to like always having that like next like goal. When you're like a goal driven person, and then when you hit the goal, then it truly is what's next. And when you don't know what's next, or in your case, maybe you're like, I don't want to double the business because then that's going to mean more operational headaches. It's going to mean less profit, all these things. It becomes weird. And all I can say is to what you had mentioned about people, it's a really cool job, I think is what you said. It is. Like, I am, because you can structure the coaching in a way that it doesn't rule your life.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if I could literally hang out and really have massive impact with people by coaching them one time a week and have this epic community where they're brought together, and I have a coach or two that helps take the day-to-day workload, what more could I want? Right? Um, but the point is impact. And that's what brought me back out of, jokingly, semi-retirement, is because I realized that's kind of what was missing for me. I already sold the company. I already have enough money. And really quickly you realize it's not about the money. And I know you probably feel the same way. Like even if you had your best year last year, I'm sure a few years prior, you already got to the point that you didn't need more money. So you aren't continuing to grow because you need to double your business, Joel. You're growing it because you love this stuff.
Yep.
And then if I were to ask, why do you love it? You're going to say, well, I get to really have a big impact on people. You're changing people's lives. And that's what I want to start doing more of. So it's really cool to retrospectively, when you're in it, it sort of sucks. But when you look back and you get on the other end and you have clarity, it's really cool to be able to be like, yep, I'm doing exactly what I want to do.
Yeah, it's a great feeling when you're able to have that reflection point and an experience unlike any other. Um, so Cole, where can people? I mean, this has been an awesome conversation. I mean, I love talking about this. You've had massive success with low ticket and selling your. We didn't even talk about you exiting and selling your
Yeah.
site
Next time.
and then going to work for a corporate. Then
Yeah.
not. I mean, so I think we can probably have a follow up conversation with that. But
Yeah.
this has been extremely valuable. Where can people go connect with you and follow your stuff?
Yeah. I mean, our website, rapidscalegroup.com. That would be the great place to start. And, aside from that, by all means, find me on Facebook or Instagram if you just want to message me and say hello or email me. I just, I just enjoy these kinds of conversations, not just with you, Joel, but anyone who's listening. And if there's any way I can help you guys, I'd love to have the opportunity. This is really cool stuff that you and I get to do to help people. And I can't think of any better way to spend my days.
Awesome, Cole. Appreciate it, man. It's been a blast chatting with you and talking about business and life and offers and marketing and membership sites and all things internet marketing. Obviously, I geek out on it. So do you. If you're listening right now and you resonate with Cole, go check him out. Let him know you heard him on Experts Unleashed, and we'll see you on the next episode. Take care.
See ya.